This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative and has witnessed the launch of the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway.
Nyaman dan pada kecepatan tadi 350 tidak terasa sama sekali, baik saat duduk maupun saat saya berjalan.
However, some Western media are hyping up the so-called China's debt trap diplomacy. Is the Belt and Road Initiative a debt trap or a high-quality public good? The term debt trap has become the U.S. stock in trade when talking about the Belt and Road Initiative. In its words, the initiative is unsafe because China has provided loans to fund the Belt and Road participating countries, and the financial system is non-transparent because the payment process didn't get approved by the U.S. and Western-controlled auditing body. In fact, the rhetoric is lame, and the real culprit in the debt crisis of the developing countries is the U.S. Take Africa as an example. The majority of Africa's external debt is held by multilateral financial institutions and commercial creditors, nearly 70% of which are owed to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Please pay attention, the largest shareholder of the World Bank and the IMF is the U.S. It owes responsibility to resolving Africa's debt problems. Calculations show that the average interest rate on African government loans from Chinese public and private lenders is 2.7%, while that number on the Western private sector loans is 5%, almost double the former. The Belt and Road Institute in Sweden, BRICS, notes that Western loans are often short-term with high interest rates and lead to unsustainable cycles of indebtedness, while China's loan to developing countries are long-term and low-interest credits contributing to improved infrastructure, which in turn lead to increased productivity and economic growth, thus to greater wealth and income for these countries, enabling them to service their debt comfortably. In the year 2022 alone, the U.S. Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 7 times, from 0.25% to 4.50%. The hikes have intensified the global economic downturn and debt pressure on developing economies. As the U.S. tells Africa to not expect debt relief from the West, China has taken debt relief. On August 22, 2022, China announced that it would waive 23 interest-free loan debts due from 17 African countries. Hussein Askary, vice chairman of the Belt and Road Institute, emphasized that China and the BRI are the solution to the financial crisis in many countries. In contrast, debt from Western institutions is often incurred to resolve trade and fiscal deficits, which means it is not used in anything productive, but simply to pay out liabilities. That is the real debt trap. So the so-called Chinese debt trap makes no sense. After a decade of BRI construction, 152 countries have seen over 3,000 BRI projects and nearly $1 trillion in new investment. The BRI cooperation has helped lift nearly 40 million people out of poverty. Projects in medical care, agriculture, and poverty reduction have been implemented along the Belt and Road. The Belt and Road participating countries share China's experience in modernization and benefit from the initiative. Alice Herbert, labeled a Jewy, governor of the Pan-African magazine, the label diplomatic and president of the Pan-African Journalists Caucus, told GDToday that
Benin officials joined China's Belt and Road Initiative in 2019. This initiative represents an opportunity to share experience, particularly through in the area of agriculture, education, digital technology, health, economic development, and infrastructure sectors. It's a good example of scale and technology transfer which interests most countries on the African continent.
Professor Quest D.L. Espra, A historian based in the Department of History at the University of South Africa said,
China done well to broaden its national interests to be inclusive in its national interests. If China's trying to build its economy, it's also trying to build others at the same time. There is, of course, these 4 initiatives. I think it's the Global Development Initiative, or Global Civilization Initiative, the Global Security Initiative that the Chinese government is proposing that assist, or that apparently are supposed to assist in global welfare, social welfare, political and economic welfare.
In order to compete with China's Belt and Road Initiative, the US President Joe Biden and G7 leaders launched the so-called Build Back Better World Plan in 2021 and the G7 Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment in 2022 respectively. However, the stunning cases of derailed trains in the US has called its infrastructure capacity into question. On February 3, 2023, a freight train run by Norfolk Southern Corporation carrying at least 5 toxic chemicals, including vinyl chloride, derailed in the Ohio small town of East Palestine. On February 16, 2023, a train hauling hazardous materials derailed in Michigan. After the derailment of the toxic train in Ohio, the U.S. Congressman Jamal Bowman, a New York Democrat, tweeted that this is one of the deadliest environmental emergencies, but no one is talking about it. According to the 2021 report card for America's infrastructure by the American Society of Civil Engineers, the U.S. infrastructure is scored C-, and 11 of 17 infrastructure sectors are graded D, including road, dams, and transit. The scores means the infrastructure is in poor condition and at risk. No matter how the US smears the BRI, the good deed speaks louder than a lip service. It is clear that the Belt and Road Initiative is a public good that promotes global prosperity and development.